Coming up on Look Today, well, SPAC's Classical Kids program visits Maple Avenue Middle School in Saratoga. We've got details, and discussion on poverty in Washington County continues. More on that coming up. And the Unitarian Universalist Church in Saratoga Springs also is going to provide a sanctuary home for immigrants. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, happy Friday. I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Rachel Sieber. She's Supervisor at Large, Warren County, and she's here to talk about the Watershed Coalition in part one of my interview with her. And I sit down with Wanda Birch. Now she's a writer and historian. We're joined by John Kenoshan. He's a singer and songwriter. And they're here to talk about a book titled The Home Voices Speak Louder Than the Drums, and a live performance inspired by this collection of letters. Very unusual interview. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties for this weekend. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, SPAC's Classical Kids program visited the Maple Avenue Middle School in Saratoga Springs today. Now, the program brought its interactive dance education presentation to the students of the middle school. Professional dancers presented three distinct styles: jazz, ballet, and hip-hop, or otherwise known as b-boy. Now, the Classical Kids program mission is to expose young students to the power of the performing arts. While we were at the school, and we spoke to Dennis Mensch. He's SPAC's Director of Youth Arts Education.
We see about 40 schools around the capital region, about 8,000 kids every year with the Classical Kids program. It's our biggest program, but we also have in-school dance residencies, which is where we were in Boston Spa this year for that purpose. So that's a more involved program, but this is more expository, and it's aimed at getting kids to get engaged in the arts.
Art is language. In other news, discussion on poverty in Washington County continued today. The Board of Chambers of Washington County meeting. Now, the public was invited to hear key speakers talk about the current challenges and full scope of the needs throughout the county. Now, some of the points of discussion included embedded generational poverty, lack of transportation resources, access to food and shelter, and affordable housing. Think about what I just said. Now, those who attended learned that they can make an impact on their local community. We spoke to Claire Murphy. She's Executive Director of the Economic Opportunity Council, Washington County.
Today was an opportunity to talk to the supervisors and to the community about the efforts that we have been taking in Washington County to examine the barriers to self-sufficiency, impacts of poverty on the overall health and well-being of Washington County. We have a 13% poverty rate, but more importantly, we have almost a 50% rate of households that live below a financial stability level.
Boy, I hope you were listening to some of those statistics, because this is the kind of issue that really does need to be addressed. All right, switching from news to weather. Today saw rain, maybe even more rain. Let's see how the weekend is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Rain Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. Meteorologist Clarence Ponser with the first look weather forecast. Right now, we have a high pressure system out towards the mid-Atlantic, and along another high pressure system in the North Gulf. We have also low pressure out towards Omaha, Nebraska, along with that stationary front near the Mississippi River. And then our warm frontal boundary is making way to the northeast over our viewing area. So we look at a tighter look. We also have that stationary frontal boundary that stretches from southern New York State all the way towards New Jersey coast. And for us, 59 in Albany, 60 Buffalo, 57 Burlington for overnight lows regionally. More closer view towards our area, mainly in the upper 50s to low 60s. Fort Edward 59, Whitehall 58, Glens Falls will look at upper 50s for low temperatures. We're looking at 59 with a few showers. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, so keep the umbrella handy. That warm front is passing through our areas. We want it back to the lower 80s under scattered showers. Otherwise, partly sunny. Our extended forecast shows 65 to 68 during the 8 a.m. hour as you walk out the door. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with a few showers. And we keep those shower chances going throughout the next several days. The best shot of showers, Monday. That's when that cold front's going to come by after a Father's Day high temperature of 87. We're back in the lower 80s for highs and then upper 70s by the middle of next week. Keep the umbrella handy throughout the forecast period. That's a look at the first look weather. Meteorologist Clarence Ponser saying back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Clarence. All right, back to the news. Immigration and Corrections Enforcement been arresting immigrants all across the entire country. And we're beginning to see this on a local level. Now, recently, there are 16 immigrants that were arrested in Saratoga County. Now, as we told you last week, there are local organizations who are trying to help them. We had spoken to Terrence Diggory earlier, who is an alderman at the Presbyterian New England Congressional Church, about how they are helping these individuals. Well, today we spoke to Eric Lawson. He's the chair of the Social Justice Committee of the Unitarian Universalist Church right here in Saratoga Springs.
Saratoga Springs, for example, is a community that lives and dies on the hospitality industry. During the summer months, more than 3,000 horses are harbored at our facilities, both at the thoroughbred track and at the harness track. And those horses are taken care of in very, very large part by the people who are being targeted by ICE for deportation. These are the hot walkers, these are the folks who clean the stables, these are the people who do the work without which the racing industry in this community would collapse.
You know, it is definitely an issue that you need to know more about. Up next, I sit down with Rachel Sieber. She's supervisor at large, Warren County, and she's here to talk about the Watershed Coalition in part one of my interview with her. Plus, I also sit down with Wanda Birch. Now, she's a writer and historian, and we're joined by John Kenoshan. He's a singer and songwriter. They're here to talk about a book that's titled The Home Voices Speak Louder Than the Drums. What a title. And a live performance inspired by this collection of letters. First, if you've seen what's happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. It's Friday. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let me go quickly. First, I want to thank the crew, ladies first, and that would be Antoinette, and that would be Dana. But of course, we have Andrew and Drew, Jack and Joel, Norm, make the show possible each week. And what a week it was. I have to tell you, if you look at the diversity of the stories that we're covering and the community news that we're covering, we obviously don't have the resources, we don't chase ambulances, but boy, there's a lot of breadth and really interesting stories about what's going on in the community. Case in point, we're at Maple Ave Middle School today. We're working on a fabulous campaign for SPAC called Art is Language. Think about that for a second. You'll see that all summer long here. And when we were at Maple Avenue today to see how the light goes on in the faces of the children when they see the performing arts and the power of it. It's more powerful than words. I'll leave you with that. A couple of things to note here. Don't forget that tonight is the Western Elks Club Scholarship Ball. This money goes to help underprivileged children in Saratoga Springs school system go to college. They deserve to go, they should go, and they don't have the money to go. It is being held at the Saratoga Wilton Elks Lodge. That's tonight. Also, Friends of Music. Their alumni concert is tomorrow, Saturday. The Larrack Festival in downtown Glens Falls. Big to do. 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday, it's the United Way Over the Edge at Queensbury Hotel. So if anybody wants to see Dwayne jump off a building, you can go do that. And I think probably, and the Hudson Headwaters Health Foundation 4th Annual Bike Run is happening also this weekend. What a weekend. Not to mention it's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all us fathers. And just a reminder to anyone out there that Father's Day is a day that we allow Dad to appear smart. We don't say anything. That we let him have the last word for about a half hour. And then we actually let him believe that he's in control of the universe. Tonight on Look TV, tracks beyond the headlines. Have a safe weekend. Have a fun weekend. Go see everything this weekend. And we'll see you Monday night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.
Met her at a party in 1861. No one for him to write to. as he's going off to war. I will write to you, dear Charlie, as a sister, mind you now, but never as a lover, no way, no how. Addie Case, I'm moving on down the line. Oh, Addie Case, won't you write me one more time? Oh, Addie Case, I'll be seeing you in my dreams, Addie Case.